All right, so in this video, I'm going to go over how we can use the quotient rule to find the derivatives of functions in calculus. So let's first go over what the quotient rule says. The quotient rule, when you have a fraction, or one function divided by a function, let's say f over g, and you want to take the derivative of this will be equal to the derivative of the top function. It'll be f prime times g times the bottom function minus f, the top function, times g prime, all over the bottom function squared. It's all over g of x, or g, the g function squared. Yeah, there's different ways to remember this. I mean, I just memorize it. I know some people sing or make songs. I'm not much of a singer, but for some reason, when I write it like this, fg minus fg, fog minus fog, and just remember the first one and the second one, is not too bad. Sometimes some books will have it like f prime g prime minus g prime f prime. They'll change the order, but it's the same thing. I like writing it like this. It doesn't really matter. Anyways, let's go through some examples. So here we have y is equal to x squared plus x minus 1 all over x squared minus 1. So the key is to recognize what your functions are. So on top, we have our g function. Or sorry, on top we'll say we have our f function. Well, this is our f. And the bottom we have we'll call it our g function. So if you want to find the derivative of y prime will be equal to, let's just first take the bottom expression squared. So we just take x squared minus 1 in parentheses, all the second power. That's our g squared. And then on top, we first take the derivative of f. So using the power rule, the derivative of f will be 2x plus 1. And then we multiply this just by g. So times g, so x squared minus 1. So here's our g, and here's our f prime. And from this, we subtract, extend this, we subtract f. So here's our f. We subtract the top function, so we just rewrite it as it is. So minus x squared plus x minus 1 multiplied by the derivative of g at the bottom function. So the derivative of g is just 2x. So times 2x. So that's our g prime. And this is just our f. Okay, so then the rest is just really algebra. The rest we just have to simplify. So let's see if I can do this without making any mistakes. So let's see what we got here. Well, let's just multiply this out. Using 2x times x squared, we'll get a 2x cubed, 2x times minus 1 minus 2x plus 1 times x, so plus x squared, plus a 1 times a minus 1, so minus 1. That minus each of these times 2x, so x squared times 2x, 2x cubed, x times 2x plus 2x squared, minus a 1 times a 2x minus 2x. And all this will be over the x squared minus 1, all the second power. And then, again, we can probably cancel a bunch of stuff here. So let's see what we got. We have a 2x cubed minus a 2x cubed here, because this negative is going to distribute. And so we have a minus 2x minus a minus 2x, so then that'll make a plus 2x. So again, minus 2x minus minus. I can, if I just take this away, minus 2x, this becomes a minus. This becomes like a plus. And you can see that this will cancel with that. And then we have an x squared minus a 2x squared. So that'll make a minus x squared on top, so minus x squared on top. x squared minus 2x squared, then a minus 1. And that's all we got on top, minus 1. And on bottom, we just have the x squared minus 1 all to the second power. Really not anything we can do here. I mean, we could factor out minus 1 if you want, and you'll get like a x squared plus a 1 on top, all over an x squared minus 1 all to the second power, but it doesn't really change anything. Again, don't worry, don't stress out too much about this part, because this is just the algebra part. It's not important. And again, I remind my students not to spend too much time on this. Focus on the calculus part and clean it up a little bit. All right, let's go through another one. Let's go through one more. Looks like I need a better eraser. What is going on here? Horrible. Anyways, all right, so here we have the y is equal to x to the fourth over cosine of x. So we want to find y prime. Now, the top function x to the fourth, we'll call that our f. And our cosine of x will be our g. So we have f over g. So we're going to take the derivative of x to the fourth, the derivative of f. The derivative of x to the fourth is 4x cubed. So that's our f prime. And we're going to multiply this by g of x. Again, by just g of x here, or g. So multiply that by just cosine of x. And then from that, we're going to subtract. So that's our g. Subtract f of x. So we just keep x to the fourth as is. So minus x to the fourth. And then we multiply this by the derivative of g, the derivative of cosine of x. And that'll be negative sine of x. And this will be all over g of x squared, all over g, the g function squared. So all over the cosine of x squared. And make sure you are familiar with this notation. This 2 being written here is saying that the cosine of x is being multiplied by the cosine of x. So it may be new to you if you haven't done much trig. Anyways, so now we just have to clean this up. There's not much. Like the top will have y prime 4x cubed. And you can maybe factor out an x cubed from each thing. X cubed times a 4 cosine of x minus minus, so plus x cubed taken out of the x to the 4, so plus x times the sine of x. All over the cosine of x to the second power, all the second power. That's pretty much going to be your simplified answer. You really can't. You can maybe write this as 1 minus sine of x all to the second power, but not really much. So this will pretty much be it. So there you go.